So, why do we have red brake lights? Right, I guess it's probably because people will say so that you can see it from far away. Oh yeah, I get it if it's aeroplanes and shit. You know, you've got to see a mast from a long distance. But why on the back of cars? After all, isn't it a lot of science has shifted today, and they say, be careful of blue light. Don't look at blue light before you go to bed. Because it makes you feel wide awake, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, red light is meant to be enhanced more, and which is kind of weird, really. And the blue light is supposed to be dipped down, yes?
Yeah.
So, why do we not have implemented into the nation then, or a nation somewhere upcoming who don't have many cars, and if they're going to get cars, whether electric or anything else, which doesn't work very well, does it? Because red light, if it's LED, red LED is cheaper than blue LED. LED, which is blue, has to require more power, which is very interesting. You can utilize this on certain things. Minimal amount of power, the red light will always show. When there is not enough power, and you go over to the blue setting, you will always see the red will appear. Then when you crank up the power a little bit more, then you get the blue light.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think then that if it was a biggie, the cars should have blue lights as braking lights and backlights of cars should be blue? Could you imagine that? Nighttime driving.
Yeah.
If you constantly see in the blue light, are you going to be more prone to fall asleep at the wheel? Or are you going to stay awake more? Oh, it beats
Stay
drinking
awake.
energy drinks, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that that is what could be causing most of the, over the years, what's caused people to fall asleep at the wheel? Yes, tiredness, so forth and so on. Do you think it's the red light?
It contributes.
I wonder in education, in lessons as well, when we put this into schools and we get thinking with schools, what happens if you have a class that has more red light in the lights and another one that has more blue light? Which one produces more productivity? The red light, which makes people feel a bit more lethargic, or blue light, which again, when we look at this in nature, it seems counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because summertime would be associated with more red light, infrared. So again, what happens if you have infrared and blue light together? You can't see the infrared, but you can't see summer. So, do you get what I mean? But it definitely makes you feel more... I don't know if you've ever noticed that with infrared lighting. Although you can't see it, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
It feels a lot warmer, for one.
Yeah.
It's very warm. Infrared is very, very, very warm. Mimics summer. But I think that we have more infrared light
Yeah.
in the summer than we do in the winter. Now, whatever mechanism this is that is triggering that.
Yeah.
So we still get infrared light in the winter, just whatever is pulled around the gravitational force, I guess. But yeah, so I wonder with this, so if brake lights were blue, would people be able to do more night driving? And would they be less likely to fall asleep? Because if it's that much of an issue that, you should really change your phones, make it a bit more like this and a bit more like that to help for tiredness. It's like, wow, it's like looking at the back of the car. You know, I once had this really strange thing. I couldn't sleep one time, nor could Litland. As soon as you put a child in a car, straight up, especially if it's nighttime, straight away.
Yeah.
But if you mimic that, and some people think it's because of the motion, well, no, because you get motion at home. You can recreate this motion. So it's not that. Adjust your light setting and the motion, kids asleep. It's a very interesting thing. It's fascinating for me. Cribs and kids' bedrooms should be designed around this sort of process, to be honest. And they will sleep longer, rest, and then they feel more alert when they're awake. And their developmental increases quicker. So we aren't that much similar to plants, really, are we? in that way.
No.
If you think about it, plants that have a nice sleep or hibernate during the winter, they actually don't sleep. It's almost like the tree is duality. For me, trees are duality. Depends how much you study them. In the summer, they focus on the top, and in the winter, they almost turn upside down.
Yeah.
And they start focusing on their roots during the winter, which is interesting because there's no point working on your roots in the summer when it's drier. You might as well do that in winter when it's more wetter.
Yeah.
It gives you the better conditions to extend. It was fascinating because we're playing around with oak trees. You know, we see a lot of them, they're actually perishing here in the UK, and I often wondered as to what this was all about. Is it an environmental factor? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? No, it's because of our seasons are weird. Our seasons have got a lot strange since then. So, yeah, it seems like they don't have the right resources in the winter to propagate their root. So the drier winters is what we're experiencing. We might as well technically say that. The lack of April showers, it's no longer April showers. Yeah, so with this sort of change, it sort of has changed the dynamics of oak tree growth. It's not to say that they won't catch up, because they will. Good shot of radiation would probably help them out, because when we say mutate, well, let's say that they haven't been subject to E numbers, which is, it's almost like society has tried to stop evolution. That's what it seems to me, that with all of these chemicals and E numbers and additives and preservatives, it's almost like trying to hamper, which makes sense, because the psychology of humans is very bizarre. It is very much keep everything exactly the same. The furniture must stay in one place. The artists that we've got, they must come from the past. The people that we pick, as opposed to what naturally forms. No one wants natural these days, do they? Unless it comes to certain things that you're like, okay, that's a bit barbaric. But still, got to keep the furniture the same. Got to keep with this one. I guess space travel has been held back because of we've labelled. We've done so much labelling on stuff, like people that stay in space for long periods of time. Well, you know what? You're getting a good shot of radiation. That's for sure, okay? Yes, the magnetic field is still present in low Earth orbit. However, the more further away from the planet you go, you're experiencing more radiation. But you're also experiencing more of a... you're in low sun orbit, as opposed to past the Oort cloud. You're no longer under that protection, so that's even more radiation. So when we think about it, radiation is a strange thing. It often gets a lot of... But if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be here. So from the Accordion time, gamma ray burst is highly, thought out. The scientists say that there was a gamma ray burst, struck the Earth, and Nautilus... can't remember what they're called now, the ones that spit the water in the shells.
They survived, didn't they?
They survived. A lot of things survived. But they didn't survive unchanged. They didn't look like they look today. So, yeah, they mutated. Which, when we say mutation, what we're actually saying is precursor of evolution. So, evolution and mutations are much hand in hand. So, what killed the dinosaurs? Well, two things happened that you can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt. Something buckled our magnetic field. That's for sure. Because we got a shot of radiation. The planet experienced radiation. So Betelgeuse is highly suspected to me. The star Betelgeuse. You know, when the dinosaurs were about, they saw the nebula blown off that star. Now, anything within that cloud gets hurled out. That's what most people forget. Now, this is small scale. Betelgeuse is very much a concern right now. If it does pop, that has deadly consequences for the future, depending on what is in its way. Not much. When stars explode further away, depending on what type of composition it is, what type of star it is, the impacts are not as not as felt on Earth unless it's a gamma ray burst. Then it's kind of felt. So you could say from the Edwardian time, and then something happened after that time, which is amazing. It allowed for water creatures to come out of the ocean and then begin to dominate land. So mutations happen. When we talk about cancer, what we're actually seeing is mutation or evolution trying to garner a grip. But perhaps because we've supercharged the cells with excess energy from chemicals plus damage from different chemicals. So we take tobacco, exhaust fumes, burning stuff. It's not so much the natural stuff. It's not so much that, no, it's more the artificial shit that the body doesn't know what to do with. Can utilize it, but the outcome, it's never been seen before. It didn't naturally occur, and usually when things naturally occur, it takes time for these to build. These are called building blocks, slowly but surely. When we think about it, it's like rushing a house. It's basically how it is. It's like rushing to build something really quickly, and then we start to realize, oh shit, this probably wasn't the best idea. Life is much like that. It's building a house, a temple, the temple being life. And it slowly and painstakingly does it. Well, when you get semi-intelligent life, although it calls itself intelligent, many people in the future are going to look back and say, people were drinking radiation to cure cancer? Yeah, it's a bit like your comparison to now, that people were taking arsenic in medicine. People call it rat poison. It wasn't rat poison back then. It was medicine. So it wasn't labeled as rat poison. Yes, people were doing the same stupid shit that they're doing now and can't see. And then they have this great label to get themselves out of jail free card is hindsight. If only, it's 2020. If you believe that, that's up to you. That's a choice. For hindsight to be later or for it to be now in the making. The difference that sets hindsight apart from you is that you are admitting that you can't calculate beyond that ratio. That you can't think quicker to see the outcome. That's what it is. It's lack of your calculation ability. That's what that is. And you'll blame it on hindsight because it makes you feel better because it's a label. It's comforting. That person's crazy. Oh, that's comforting. Oh, okay then. You dismiss it. That person's got Alzheimer's. Oh, okay then. That's why they're shouting all of that stuff. Which turns off straight away, doesn't it? The need to check. Well, if we were a great empire, we would check that. If someone's shouting help, help, and this, that, and the other, and we would go in. And we would look at it from their perspective straight away. This person's got Alzheimer's. I don't care about your labels. We're going to check this out. Why? Because we have to. You know, if it was anything else, that person's stealing. Well, let's go and check it out. Well, look, we're just going to investigate this just to eliminate stuff. But yeah, if it's somebody else with a label, it's just straight away, isn't it? That person's got Alzheimer's. Oh, okay. I'll just, I'll go and get on with my own. The only time you don't get the bystander effect and want it, and someone triggers it by putting a label there, which is nice and comforting. And then it's like, is there a chance that this person is not being listened to? And just because they have semi-coherentness is such a lovely label, or that person's mental is another one. I've had these thrown at me, not the Alzheimer's version, but that person is mental. Oh, okay then. And then it's sort of like then that anything I say then means that I don't have... Fucking discriminative is what it is. Just because people are mental doesn't mean that they are incapable of processing certain data. Just means that it's different to yours. Your everyday stuff might be classed as antisocial, might be classed as this, might be classed as mental. But it doesn't mean that you don't have the capability to foresight more bigger semantics. And then it becomes the 6 and the 9. Who's seeing the 6? Who's seeing the 9? From what perspective? This bubble here, which is psychology, these people fit into this group here, classing these people as mental. You just got to look at it. Einstein was labelled mental, so was Tesla. Well, lots of others, by the way, Steve Jobs, different. Loads of individuals were classed as insane, mental, crazy. They actually turned out to be revolutionary pioneers. But yet, with all those labels, can you imagine the nets that they were cast into with the whole, oh, they're just mental. Oh, okay, right, yeah. It's dismissive because it's got to fit. It's got to feel warm. So yes, if someone is claiming this from a care home or something, there should be a group independent that goes in and has a look at that. The person is making a very good point.
Yeah.
They feel trapped.
Yeah.
I, in that situation, would also feel trapped.
Yeah.
And then these people will go away and, what can we do to eliminate that? Well, probably like this, right? These are our recommendations. Get on with it, please. Then, if we hear it, which we won't, you won't hear it after that. You won't hear that help, that I feel trapped, they're locked me in. It must feel like a prison, and therefore, your point is valid.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to dismiss it because you have moments of Alzheimer's, which is not constant. Everybody believes it's constant. There's 20% of these individuals that have coherentness and 80% worth of incoherentness. And sometimes it's the other way around. They have 80% worth of coherent and 20% worth of incoherence, which I guess is the right word to use. So 20% of the time they're in that mode, and 80% of the time they're functioning very normally, is what everyone would class as normal. Don't like to put the label on that. And sometimes it's the other way around. And sometimes the percentage is more than that. So yes, without checking, we just keep doing the same shit over and over again. So yes, the point of brake lights, if they were blue, what would be the difference? What data is there? Where are the scientists? Where are you in your colleges and your universities? Where are you? Is this something you are studying? And if not, do you think this could be something that you're studying? Because it puts out a new branch of individuals. Is genius labeled to light fluctuations? And we know that light affects people. We know this because of when we look at places like Norway and Norwegian, I think it is Scandinavian countries that have a very high suicide rate based on limited amounts of light that they have. I'm pretty sure if they were traveling individuals, they wouldn't settle there. They're forced to settle there, so therefore that then becomes territory owned as my nation, my language. But it's not your language and it's your nation, because if it was your language, did you make it? No. Well, then you were taught it. But you were taught all to speak the same so that everybody could understand what you were saying. Because it's far more easier to get data from people that all speaks the same language. Trust me, twins know this, because when you build your own language with one another, everybody, and I do mean everyone, is trying to crack what you're saying. Everybody. Now, if you imagine that with groups of people around that learnt their own language, this would be a very hard job for people to understand exactly what the hell you're going on about. You know, one or two groups that are doing this, it's easy. But if everybody was doing it, it's too complex. You overwhelm a system. And therefore, it's very hard to collect data from you and think of what you're going to do next. And also, based on this, there is different variations of behavior. It's easy to fit people into a box, a category.
Yeah.
When everybody near enough acts identically the same carbon copy as everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, oh, psychicness. I'll give you a dose of psychicness. You're going to be forced to get a job that's told that it's a career based on an employee or a CEO of a company that says that to work your ass off for me is worthy. To do nothing is not worthy to society. You're a debt, you're this, you're that. That's based on somebody else's opinion who could just be you one day. And you. And you. Everyone has the ability to be somebody in this world. It all depends on what the hell you choose to fill your mind up with. I like to fill it up with all of it. I want a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of this. These are all seeds at the end of the day, and you can water it. Big garden. Big garden. It's wonderful, really, it is. And I don't believe this one narrative stuff. We're just educated to be one. Pick one or the other. That's it. One. No. I want more options. The Egyptians built pyramids because they were graves. No, they weren't. You're full of shit. They're not graves. They are temples. They were places of worship, a bit like churches. The psychology of today's people, notice something with the churches that we see around. Who do they put into the church and bury in the church? Other priests?
No, not priests.
Well, who did they put in there then? Who did they bury into the walls and shit?
The richer people, didn't they?
Okay, yes, but I'm on about nowadays.
Nowadays.
You've got St. Francis, blah, de blah, de blah.
Yeah.
St. this, and this.
Yeah.
And they're now in the church, yes?
Yeah.
That's very similar to a behavior that was put out into Egyptians, right?
Yeah.
That they buried them into it.
Mm-hmm.
Bit like burying cats into walls, right?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah.
So that's a behavior.
Mhm.
That behavior is not what the Egyptians were doing. Where are all the other people? Well, they were buried in shitty little tombs over there. Find the bones. That's not what they were doing. That's not how they did it. No, this is a place of worship where people went to what? Well, if we look at the Mayans, they went there to study the stars.
Mm.
If people went to the Egyptian temples, they were going there to worship Ra, the star gods.
Yeah, because they have cemeteries and they are somewhere else. don't
Yes.
they?
They were not putting people in walls and they weren't made into tombs. No. Someone that stole all of that narrative and wanted to kick them down, which, by and large, the Egyptians didn't listen to the advice that they were being given. That's up to them. And this is what's rolled out now. And a behavior that has continued on throughout the ages. Who gets buried in the walls of all churches? There you are. Cemeteries were only ever built for rich people. The problem is they had grave diggers,
Yeah.
robbers, grave robbers.
Yeah.
People would come in and steal from the graves because they were buried with their sentimental shit based on their behavior. They wanted to be buried with certain heirlooms and the poor people that were not in these knew it. So what did they do? Burial desecrate.
Yeah, they got it.
They went and dug them up.
Yeah, if they knew where they were,
Oh,
because
that's a nice ring. This is nice. Look at me. So in order to stop that, what did they do? Well, they had to start burying everyday people to hide them in the noise. But if you've got a few rich people in there with a few heirlooms, guess what?
you just go for one
They're
of them
hidden.
because they are, yeah. But if there's more people and not all of them are rich, it's harder to get something. Isn't
Well,
it?
the poor didn't have any concept of grave. Because what it used to be is, oh no, Frank has fucking died in my carriage. Pull him out, dig a hole at the side of the tracks with the horse and cart, chuck him in. Shink. There we are. How many miles are we away from Thetford? Oh, 15. Oh, fuck it. It becomes a landmark where you die. There was none of this sacredness or no respect for the dead, so they had to build respect for the dead and start casting myths. A bit like the myth of, here you are, the council should learn this with dog shit. Perhaps they could do the same thing with dog shit. It would work well for them, wouldn't it? Did you know that horse shit makes plants grow great? Can you imagine all the poor people running out into the streets, quickly grabbing the horse shit and fighting over it? Because they knew that it would make their gardens luscious? What's the one thing those people have just done? Cleaned the fucking roads, cleaned the streets for free. Based on what? Psychology. It makes your garden really great. I don't know. I've experimented with this, and if you haven't, then yeah. That's why horses, the people that own horses in fields, they're selling their horse shit, yes? Why are you not making fertilizer out of it? Why do we have to go and get some stuff that's at the bottom of the ocean called seaweed? And we have to use seaweed instead. Which one's easier? Well, probably bags of horse shit.
Oh shit, because they cleaning it every day, don't they, from their stalls and
So why is fertilizer then made out of seaweed? You must walk your dogs every single day, but horses can stay closed off inside fields. And just to make sure we've made the RLNI. You know what? I think horses would probably need to be walked every day, and dogs, perhaps, probably not. But you might as well say that dog shit makes you see in the dark, just like carrots. Not radar.
Well, it didn't work, did it? Because
What, carrots, eating carrots?
no, the horse shit that you would see in the dark.
Yes, the horse shit was people would
Yeah,
literally
horse
fight
shit,
over
yeah.
it. It was reverse psychology. It's bullshit, no different from saying our soldiers eat carrots and that's why they're able to see in the dark. You lying fucking bastards. But I understand why you did it, but you lying fucking assholes, man. You've made radar.
Yeah,
This is what this had to do.
yeah,
But we had to hide it from the enemy. And all of you people here are the enemy.
yeah. And we won't tell you because you could tell someone anyway.
Yeah, because the Germans might find out from English people.
Yeah, and just in case
We're at war with
it
them.
was too suspicious, eat spinach as well for your muscles.
Oh, yeah, Papa.
Yeah,
Let's roll out.
that will make it like a recommendation of different vegetables and then lead away from that.
Yes, because we went to war, we can no longer import stuff. People have stopped growing shit. Everyone is fucking tarnishing the lands. What are we going to do? How about we eat some blackcurrant? Well done, Lucasade. Get out there and make some Ribena. What else can we do? We've got blackberries. I don't know if I like them. Most people don't like blackberries. Well, it's an idea. It's better than orange, isn't it? What about spinach? All right, then. Okay, and carrots. Fucking carrots. Because they're orange. They're not naturally orange, but
Yeah,
we can get people to eat these fucking things.
Yeah.
We've played around with the genetics, and everyone loves natural. I'm so natural. Look at my smoothie I'm making with artificial orange. Sorry, I meant carrot. But still, with my artificial orange carrot.
yeah.
Look how natural I am. Wow. That must have boosted science for a little while. So double whammy psychology here.
Oh yeah.
Eat your carrots, being orange, artificial, genetically modified.
Yeah, because
No one batted an eyelid. Today, people were batting eyelids about with genetically modified corn. No! They must not be allowed to do that, and fuck these pylons! Pylons help you see in the dark.
yeah, you cannot have the pylons. The countryside is ugly, you know.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
Have you seen your cities?
When you have pylons, countryside is ugly.
Covered streets.
But then everyone wants energy, but they don't want pylons.
That's fucking weird to me.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Radiation helps you see in the dark. Because you glow. Not everybody dies of radiation, by the way. And I think the numbers is more like the survival rate. You know, when we look at Nazi Germany, do you know why they were doing all of this shit with people? They were experimenting with people.
Yeah, they
This
are.
still continues today. Some cases will mark that people were playing around with LSD and this, that, and the other, and PvP, and different stuff like that. It's to make an indestructible soldier. This has been going on since World War. Both sides were doing it.
Yeah.
But the other side wanted to kill the other side. That's what they wanted to do, but keep their race going. Immune.
Yeah, so they
The new war
experimented
today, I
on
think, is
others.
more about bioweaponry. Who's got the best this, and this bioweaponry? I think that's somewhere where it's probably heading. But the problem is with war. This is why it's so stupid. 20% usually, always survive, even radiation. That's the reason why we won't go to space just yet, because drinking cow milk won't help fight the calcium things, and we've bullshit everyone, told them that calcium is what. Yeah,
But
just
it-
like Anglian Water tell you that iron in your water is good for you.
yeah.
But it causes limescale and other things, and therefore, when you look at the way this planet is structured, it's structured to help life. If you want to call it a computer program, this planet has been, by design,
Yeah.
is structured on creating life harmoniously in every single way possible.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if we took all of the crystals that we found, all the crystal caves, and we ground it all down into a powder, and then we began to mix this into the oceans and waterways, you would kill a lot of people. All of it.
Yeah.
The reason why the crystals are formed, one, It's not just for your benefit. It's for all life's benefit on the planet. Crystals remove impurities.
Mm-hmm.
So we understand this. If we were to take a lot of river water and keep boiling it down and boiling it down, you'll be left with a lot of crystal. This crystal is an impurity.
Mm-hmm.
You're drinking the purer. If you want to keep your diamond and your crystal and have it and be like, oh, this is so sacred. Yes, it's sacred for a reason that you are not telling the truth about. You have extracted the crap. When we look at wine and people go off and want to drink some wine,
Mm-hmm.
well, you've got to understand something. There are crystals left behind in wine. You know that, yes? But they're the impurities. Whichever way you look at it, the crystals are the impurities.
Mm.
You are extracting the juices from those crystals. It's very nice. So when we look at diamonds, and people often talk about the way diamonds are forged and everything else, not right now, people don't understand it. Go off into the future and people are going to confirm this as absolute truth. Diamonds are a byproduct, an impurity that has been extracted, and it's that liquid that has been extracted that's left the crystal behind, or diamond behind. That's a waste product. That is not worthy of anything. Yeah, it looks pretty, wonderful, nice, it's got high value, but again, a lot of things have high value when it comes to humans, E-numbers and preservatives, and, you know, again, so I wouldn't be taking their common sense as much, but, you know, so they put value on stupid things.
Yeah.
Don't mean to be, most life forms go through a phase like this, and they get over it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And the future looks back at the past and thinks, they used to put these on here. If they knew now,
Yeah.
if they know what we know back then, things would have been so much more different. How much more faster would have history, or let's say the history would have been altered very quickly? The whole of humanity has this thing called hindsight, that they were doing certain things in the beginning that were detrimental. But at the time, if you went back and said, hey, you know, this arsenic that you're drinking in this medicine is highly toxic. Will you fuck off? Listen to my ego talking.
Hey.
Listen to my pride.
Hey.
You'll put me out of business. And money. And popularity. Oh, you're swearing. Get out of my church. But it's a shop. I know, but it's my sanctuary. Now fuck off. Right, do you see that? We understand something here, that when you press something, you could look at the seed, olive pit. That is the crystal, if you want to call it that. And you're squeezing it and you are extracting the liquid. Now what's more? You go and try and sell people. Here you are, look. Here's some olive pip. Ground it down and pressed. Do you want some olive pips? It's like trying to sell sand to someone in Great Yarmouth. Do you want to buy some sand? I charge you £1 a grain. Well, fuck off, do I want sand for? Why do you not want it? Because I got a whole beach full of it if I wanted it. I could keep pockets full of this shit if I wanted to. Why do I want your fucking sand? That's a good point. What's been pressed from that sand? Because after all, this is ground down crystal. When you think about it, something has extracted from that. Coal. Coal, again, is a high value to it.
Yeah.
Yes, I see how that's been made into a value because humans said that it's valuable.
Yeah.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look at what's come out of that. The value of that is in what came out. Well, you can't see it. What's he talking about? Yeah, I know, because it created all of this platform for you to walk on now. Let's do another one then, shall we? A star might as well be looked at as a crystal. But when you squeeze it and you pop it, you're extracting. Now, what part of the remnants of that star do you find valuable? Well, there's some things in there that you'll find as waste product.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at nowadays, we're teaching the whole nations that carbon is bad stuff. It's bad. Carbon, terrible. It isn't. It's highly valuable. What the fuck do we want Mars for? It's full of fucking carbon. You want that carbon. You have no idea how valuable that is. But the more we believe, as we're being brought up and taught, and even in schools we're being educated, it's a very dangerous thing. No, children should be taught what can we do with that carbon, which gets them thinking. And what do they think about? Well, we could grow plants in it, miss. You are absolutely right. Correct. And what could we do with that carbon then? Well, the carbon mist could be converted into oxygen, and we can also grow food. This is exactly it. You are impressive. And another child comes out with another bit of it, and then we can do this. You know, we can extract these kids. You are just fucking little geniuses waiting to happen. You're brilliant. You are going to become the next pioneers and don't even realize it. Why? Because you just made a waste product into something very valuable. How valuable? Well, you've just converted a waste gas of what humans breathe out into something that could be breathed back in again that is beneficial to humans. And not only have you done that, you demonstrated that you understand that plants can breathe in this bad, so we call gas, and produce a food from it. A food that can give us energy as well as some oxygen in order to maneuver, to have more than what we've got. We could create a second fucking Earth with this. Would it be a point to create a second Earth on Mars? That's a shade of grey at the moment. That depends on where everyone wants to go as empires. The new empire that is forming is beautiful. Shan't give you too many hints onto what it is forming into, but a new empire is merging, and I think that the reason why we see these... At the moment, what we're seeing on the world is power struggles. There's an empire change, and everyone feels it. Everybody's feeling it, that there is a shift in power taking place right now. It's been happening since 5 years ago. I think it's been a bit more before that, but 5 years it's really warming up, that it's becoming more and more obvious that there's a shift happening, a big one. And from one thing that you should learn is from history, that it should always teach you that something, no matter what it has been. Now, back at the time, these empires that fell were fucking mighty. They were strong. They were powerful for their time. And remember, it's hard for you to put your mindset into that and cast yourselves back, because you're in a mindset of now of what you understand as power, which makes this not look like power. But back then, they didn't know this. It's that same question. If you could take that knowledge and transport it to them, and if you could feed one of the... see, empire is a weird word. It's a very strange thing that you use as a way of saying empire. Who runs the empire? Empires are not empires. They are a collective of all other nations that agree to a fundamental top of a food chain or empire running, and whoever that may be. It's not about power or dominance or this or that. It's got nothing to do with it. It's about agreement and everybody agreeing to that structure. So you have these things called allies. This is the way it's always functioned. So you've got the top of the pyramid, whoever it may be that they've entrusted to. That's just the way humans are. Someone else will deal with it. We gotta get on with this in the meantime. But yet that torch always passes. Always. And it's a collective of small, but equally as mighty. You see, the one at the top would not function against everybody. They wouldn't be able to do it. The smaller ones, with this, then you have a slight chance. A slight one. But within that, there are small fractions. And to know whether they're all in your alliance or not, that only boils down to when push comes to shitty shove. Not all are going to formulate in that. Now, let's see this. If one goes to battle with another and tries this, and this, there's a chance that it could weaken the structure. And what that could do is allow one of these smaller ones to take center stage, which at the end of the day, name it. Would your nation want to be the top? Would the most smallest nation in Papua New Guinea want to be the top? I reckon they would.
Would they?
Well, if they were becoming established, yes, they would want to be a part. Yes, they would like to be the next to be universally crowned to lead the way. But the universe wants a favour that always often gets knocked along the way. Sometimes in life, things favor you, and you are then deliberately made to forget that it favored you, it takes a step back, then when it comes back into the frame, you believe that you're now so powerful that you start telling it the demands.
Yeah.
You start telling it how it's going to do and what it's going to collect, and this, that, and this happens until eventually it stops. Until there's a unanimous, I don't want to say it that way, a unitedness.
Yeah.
One that works hand in hand. The push and the pull. That factor, you will often go very far. Most empires reach this point where they believe, and it is just a belief. It's just a belief. Everybody believing that it is as strong as it is. Problem is with that, what happens if all the people, this is a beautiful thing. So we understand about intelligence groups. It's a very similar thing, but it's not exactly the same. Share information with one another and try and code it and distort it and hide it to be able to send a clear... Think of it as a VPN.
Yeah.
You've got something that you want to send from point A to point B and you don't want anybody else to see it. What if humans were all like that? They're all connected to this bubble, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And overall, by and large, that bubble does never get active. It remains in the background. But what happens if you could send a message? It's not telepathically. No, it's not like that. With this side that everybody doesn't believe in anymore. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, bloody ghosts, all this, all that. Could you imagine if you actually could communicate with a ghost? That would be the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to do something? Yeah, what's that? If I give you this message, can you go and give it to this person? You don't need to say it out loud. I can hear it when you think it. And you just think it. And that message gets relayed through the chain. Now imagine if there was a bubble that everything is connected to. Invisible strand that connects everybody. And it is this way. But it's hard for people to believe this. Because everyone believes the whole as-me fucking bollocks mindset, which is crap. To me, that is crap. As you mindset, I make life the way it is and I do this. Yeah, you probably told all the fucking universe when to create you, when you were going to be conceived, who your fucking dad was, who your bloodline's going to be. Oh, yes! Holy one, please! Oh. Do you get what I mean? Do you understand that in that way? That they, as me, and I'm in control of my life, I make it as it is, I'm the fucking winner. When are you going to die? How are you going to die? What happens after you die? Well, I don't know. As me mindset. Well, I only know about me and what I'm in charge of and what I'm capable of. Yeah, that's if you don't know any... Do you know if there's any hidden strings that are pulling your path for you, with you, or helping you, or perhaps you're connected in some weird way that you don't know about? Perhaps you're an experiment that people want to see what happens when someone like this flourishes. Bit like a twin, and you've got a twin, parallel you, a version of you that is the opposite, very much similar, but the opposite of you, that wonder what happens. It will actually make it identical as you in personality type and everything else, and you're one that we're going to say yes to, and you're one that we're going to say fucking no to, just to see what happens. Wonder what happens with that mindset of two of these individuals walking two different paths, because we know that you could probably walk the path like this, but if you left it naturally, what would happen with these paths? Do we have one that's natural? Have we got a three? You know, there's only duality when it comes to things like this, but there's not a trio. But there's one with everything else. But there might be two with this one. Let's see how you turn out versus you. Interesting. Psychological experiment number fucking 6. Bit like Hitler and the Nazis and whatever else. They were fascinated with the small percentage that got back up. You will find that hard to believe because you think it's total for everything, yes? Let me give you an example. Rat poison, arsenic, yes?
Yeah.
Did you know some rats can eat this as a food source? Did you know that they can sustain life via eating rat poison? Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not everybody dies of it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So when we think about it, a nuclear bomb and everything else like that, not everyone is going to die.
Yeah.
This statistically would be the ones that would probably benefit from cancer.
Yeah.
Interested for treatments. And some people would be statistically are the ones that would die from this sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
people survived the Japanese, after war, and Fukushima and Chernobyl, and after war the bombing.
Yeah, there is nothing
Some died,
that
some
can
lived.
wipe you out
Yeah.
100%. Except for the universe has that overall power. Because the way everything here is structured. If you're on a spacecraft somewhere, you're probably going to wipe everybody out. It's different. Because the spacecraft will be structured to create as much demolition as possible. Think of it as keeping the riffraff out. You know this one really well. Because you lot all follow it. So, the riffraff. And then who is selected? Because again, are you in control of the design work of humans?
Yeah, I see.
Do you get what I mean? So if there is a higher force, a higher power that is beyond anything that you understand, your lineage can be tweaked in such a way, because you will do things that you don't even know why you're doing it. You'll say that you've made technology. There's a reason why you've made technology, but it ain't yours. And actually, this can benefit anything else and everything else. You see, it's like links in a chain. It's hard to explain it. So humans do things with certain behaviors. So what if there's just a niceness that, let's say, the gods pick a type of planet, or the universe incarnates as a universal force in one particular area, which would be, let's say, this one. Yes?
Yeah.
So the thing is, what happens if they want to communicate with everybody in these links of the chain? Well, directly control you is not it, but impulsively control you. You're doing things that you don't know why you're doing it. Why do you not live in trees like the rest of the animals and go off and do that? So something unlocked you to a degree to allow you to do these things that you do, and then you create houses and destroy the planet, which is perhaps predictable, but in that shit, you can create a lot of good. So it encourages you to make tech. And this technology you'll think is for your benefit and for you to make a video and do this and run around doing that and everything else. But what if it was a way to communicate with the next? You know, the ones you don't know about, but they know about you. Because that's what intelligence is all about, right? How many years have you been going around wondering how you got colds? Think about it. How many generations were you getting sick but didn't know why? Do you reckon it was going on for ions, and then one day someone who was mad and crazy and stupid and idiotic and a bit Galileo and needs to be locked away somewhere? I don't agree with any of these things, just what humanity tends to do with things. Belief systems that fracture their understanding of simpleton life. Turns a microscope downwards onto something. Builds it, creates it, maybe. Gets it from somebody else that's using it to make glasses or whatever else to help someone see, and they utilize this tool in a different way. And they utilize this tool in a different way. You notice that councils here will try and stop you in any way possible. You can't have solar panels, those in housing associations, because you might build something electronic that goes out of a bubble in our understanding, and you'll break our comfort zone and we'll get sore asses because our egos. Have you seen how big they are? Right? Okay, right. Anyway. Do you understand why they push down? You might cause a fire. We might actually wait until you've built something and then set your house on fire, pay off a fire chief. He says it was because of your experimenting, and then we can make laws to make no one ever do that again. You remember how Tesla was, don't you? Oh. And Edison, shit, we can't have one of those here. That would go against everything we believe in. We like going up to a plug socket and turning it on and off and on, and we get power. Send it through the fucking air? What the internet did to us. Right, so you understand that these types of situations that you've got, someone turns a tool and uses it in a different way, that's not how you're supposed to be using that tool. Put it on your head and fucking wear the glasses properly. Well, look, if you do it like that, I don't care. You're mental. Stop doing this shit. Because it's scary, right? Look at these little things that are moving around. What the hell is that? I don't know. Well, it's funny because every time I put them in your drink, you get the sniffles. These little things.
Yeah.
No, I told you that my colds is because I was possessed by a devil. A demon got me in with my tonsils. Yeah, but you get it, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a 20% population versus your snowman 80% of the population that did not believe that shit. It was highly blasphemy, or we should lock you up, or that goes against everything. And yet this number had to grow and grow and grow, and slowly it does. And you have a switcheroo, where 20% no longer believe it, and 80% are like, you know what, this is pretty good. Oh yeah, there is some shit in there. This one we figured out that causes you to go, ah! This one makes you go, achoo! And this one makes you go, oh, that's such a ditchy fucking head. Okay, so let's call this one cunt, and cunt 2, and cunt 3. Sorry, but it is a bastard, right? When you get to understand this stuff, this sort of stuff, it sort of opens up. No one ever looks back and thinks, this was going on for this long, and we didn't even know. And then, humanity, fast forward till now, they believe that it's everything. That it's absolutely 100%, this is everything, we're so right, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Even though the possibilities are endless. But yet your possibilities on Earth because of other humans is one. Just one. So we pick one and one only. We only have one kingdom, one empire, one this, one that, one. Well, shit me, if I was out in the woods, I'll pick this road. I come to a fucking, not a fork in a road, I come to a fucking star in the road. Now I can go back and travel the path I've already travelled, but it breaks off this way, this way, this way, and this way. God comes up, wherever he is, Thunderbolt and clouds or whatever, and the collective are there. You're only allowed to pick one path now, Terry. Just one. Just one.
No, technically you are not allowed to pick. You are supposed to follow this path, they tell you.
Well, hold on a second. Just, what happens if I pick this path, go to the end of it, and then come back that path, and come back to this starting point, and then fuck off this way, and then go that way, and then go over this way, and then go over this way, and then go back on the journey that I came and tell everyone what I saw? God's just like, hold on a second, I just got to read my Bible quickly. There's no any answers for this cunt. He just says, just let me pray on that. What, do you, hang on, you're supposed to be God. Yes, I know what I need to pray on this one. God says, dear God, please help me have the strength to get right. Do you get what I mean? That's like a fucking ridiculous, but still, you could pick all of the parts. I'm pretty sure God is probably like, you can pick one, because you can only walk at one, but you could, or if that's just you on your own, which logically you'd move as a group, and you say, either we all go together and be strength as the group, but we go to a certain X amount of path, find all of this stuff, wonderful. What happens if that path leads you to a barren area? Can't go any further. If you do, you're going to die. But yet, what happens if I walk back to that path and back to the part where it all spirogrammed out into different directions like a star? This one leads to desert, yes? This one leads to water. This one leads to wood. This one leads to food. Now, that path, those paths, all separate, are hell of something, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, this one leads me to death. This one lets me lead to death because, there could be food in that. But what if I went to the wood and then come back with all of this knowledge and us as the group? Right, what can we do?
Yeah.
Well, we could take the wood, we could carve it, we could make some stuff from it, we could collect some water, we could also collect some food, try and preserve it in a way, and then make it across the desert, and then reach the promised land. Which one do you think God would like? You just pick one road, there you are, you're at the water hole, now stay there. That's where you've got to be now, you've got to become a fish. Think fish, become fish. I made you human, but please be a fish. I need you to be a fish because I need you to just have one path and that's it. No golden journeys, nothing. I mean, God will probably be, I'm impressed. You understand water, you must, you're pretty good at understanding water. You go there and you're a great emerald. You're just wonderful. You understand clearings of the wood and know how to make this. This one over here, you're a good butcher. Bit morbid, but still very good butcher. You understand food. In the desert, still figuring out what to do with this, God. That's right. So you're sort of semi-desert, semi-not. You're getting good suntan. I look good. But if you were to combine all of those different educational journeys, what do you create? I think life should be looked at like that, with education. You could go and become an electrician. And be that for the rest of your life. Wonderful and great. Or you could come back with an electrician and then become a plumber. Yeah. They always say that water and electricity don't mix. Yes, but you are neither. And you are both.
Yeah.
If water and electricity don't mix, then fucking hell, God, what are you playing at? We're going to fucking label you up with qualifications. And you failed, by the way, because you mixed water, wetness of a human, and electricity together, being the electrodes in the brain. And you made movement from this? Water and electricity doesn't mix, according to humans. Well, they don't talk a lot of fucking sense most of the time. It's still the cunts that drink rat poison. No, not today. What about radiation? Yeah, still doing that. Yeah, I'll take some advice from you when you've, But water and electricity doesn't mix. And we can go around saying that all the time.
How about electrolysis?
I know, but what are you? You are water and electricity.
Yeah.
And food.
Yeah.
And a little bit of desert. And a little bit of a wetland. Are you a wood? Not quite. So you see a lot of these mixing these skills together. Well, what would happen to you as a human? You'd find out that a plumber can mix water and electricity together in a very safe way that doesn't cause any harm. Do you know what? I can send energy through the water. Every time you turn on your tap, do you know that's sending power to your plug socket? How the fuck did you do that? You just argued with science. Yeah, I know. It's wonderful, isn't it? Oh, okay then. Water and electricity don't mix, said the planet. Full of fucking lightning strikes. How much of this planet is covered in moisture?
How about eels?
Electric eels?
Yeah.
Apparently, according to science, you don't exist.
And mantas, the ones that,
Water and electricity
that
don't
are
mix.
in seas. Yeah.
If I was Egyptians, I'd be very fascinated with electric eels. I really would. I'd power shit with that. Wouldn't take them very long to figure out glass, sand, and how to make that from it. Reflecting light. Wheels and pulleys. They didn't make wheels and pulleys. Right, you are. Okay. And let me guess. The Mayans didn't understand building.
And how about their war chariots?
Yeah, with the wheels on the side, yes.
Yeah. They didn't have wheels. They just didn't promote them in their drawings, did they? Why would they do that?
Well, why would they promote them? If I was an ancient Egyptian,
in war ones they did. So yeah,
I would build a wheel, and then I would encase it. So this would have a massive wheel that connects to the ground, and I'd be able to move it with my hands and make it look like Merlin. And then I'd press a little button here when I stood on it. Go on, you try it, see if you can move that. Before you do, what do you grow? Oh, I got some eggs, sir. All right, give me 20 eggs and you can have a go at trying to move this. So what happens if I move it? Well, I collected 4 pints of fresh wine from this person, and now I've got these eggs from you. If you're able to move that, I will give you back your eggs plus the wine. Oh, all right then. Go on then. Here's your eggs, mate. No, I can't do it. I just can't. You must be magic. I am magic. I am full of shit magic. Full of bullshit. But look, watch these. Because you would encase the wheel. You wouldn't want to fucking teach other people that have never seen a wheel before. One, they'd never believe you. Mm-hmm. So what would be the point in showing them that? Look, it's wheel. And I don't care. Yeah. So, and then when they see it, whoa, fucking hell. They'd be too busy with the normal and crazy and the labels. I'm pretty sure they would have said. I would conceal my wheels.
I wonder if they used wheels in wells, where you have the donkeys or camels and they walk around. So it was laying horizontally.
Yeah, but the problem is with the Egyptians, right?
Yeah.
That is so obvious. Everyone goes over to the Nile and they're like, why did the Egyptians build these massive... What are these things near the Nile? Which everyone tries to cover up. Mm-hmm. There's more there if you move the sands, but no one wants to... Because they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's called a dam, ladies and gentlemen. They were blocking the flow of the Nile so that it filled up into the desert. They were the first floodplains, the man-made floodplains, that were great for growing crops. But they also learned that they could pick things up that were really heavy. Even when it come to harvesting, basically they would build these, the buoyancy of the Egyptians were fascinating. They first were understood how to build boats very well in the beginning. Boats were their thing. But they didn't build boats in the sense that were made for transporting humans. This came afterwards. It was mainly to put all of the crops on this object. Once they had finished and they'd harvest, and because they were making so much food, because remember, today it's easy, isn't it? Empires rely on just press print. Money starts coming out. Back then, they didn't have money, they had food. Food was the main reliance. So the more people that joined, the more mouths they had to feed. And their currency was built upon food.
Food and great
so
river
therefore, they needed to transport this food. And there was a way that they could get the food, but in order to make people move the food from one to the other, it took too long. And timing with food, when things begin to rot, they need to get into... They also built very beautiful refrigerations. They understood how to keep things very cool. Digging down, getting fresh water. Their skills of hunter-gatherers were very good, and collection of some of the best. And the ways of keeping things cold, the cooling systems that they've shown is very beautiful. And hence why I drew the one up, but it didn't get much light, to be honest, because it argues with a lot of things. Anyway, so one, they needed a place to grow all of this food in the middle of nowhere, and people had to be mind-boggled as to how they did it.
Yeah.
So they would make these things that would look like rafts. And this is where wheels came in. They needed the wheels. They needed it part land and part water. So if we understood it in today's world, have you ever seen that robotic making this stuff out of weird stuff where they make the car that is able to go through water and then convert into... This is what the Egyptians of fine art that. So they made a raft where all of the crops could be cut very quickly and thrown onto something that was in near proximity, and it could move, but it got heavy. Then, when they began to flood the Nile, the same irrigation system that they were using, which would be the floodplain, so they were working with hydroponic foods. And everybody knows, everybody should know this, that hydroponics is the best result of food that you can ever get. When you understand nature and when you work with a higher force, it teaches you things. More knowledge in you, the more it's got to work with through you. If you are an empty vessel, then, well, you practically got fuck all for it to work with. And, well, it could probably make you a good animal, I suppose. But you're limited. Therefore, you are limited to what you know, and therefore, no knowledge. What's it going to work with? And then, why would it want to work with you in that way? Did you absorb it? No, you didn't. You just let it go because you're this one. Anyway. So in this process of filling your mind up with a lot of stuff, you've got a lot to work with, and a lot of stuff would be known with nature. You would study nature very well. You would understand that it needs an awful lot of light. You would also understand that it grows really well under hydroponic. You would understand certain types of light, and there's a fascinating thing with the equator.
Mm-hmm.
If you have desperation on keeping people with you in order to go on to create more extraordinary things,
Yeah.
you'll understand that you need to be able to print money pretty quick. So when COVID came, what happened? Those printers were burning hot, right?
Mm.
They were printing more money than they've ever printed before.
Yeah.
Quickly. But can you imagine it was in the times of fucking sminting fucking bits of silver, and that didn't work, right?
Mm.
So what's the easiest way to do it now to keep everybody in this loop? Doesn't last for very long. The edges are already fraying. So we move over to credit. Just press a button, right?
Yeah.
But you don't even need to do it. You just need to tell a robot to fucking do it. And it's...
Just add something on.
Problem is with that, people understand how easy it is and then start to question the very foundation as why you are needed now. That's the problem with that. You see, this is where it goes. Back in the day, well, you needed to pull all those, you needed to heat this, you needed to do that. There was a purpose for you. Now, there's not so much as one because it can all be done computer and autonomously.
Yeah.
You don't need any middleman. People start to then ask, how much can we save from this sort of stuff if we didn't have you? Everybody knows, and everybody's been taught, whether you want to admit it or not, that when you cut out the middleman, how much more money do you have? That's like me paying my rent to Safi. They take it, and then the council will like take it from them. You might as well just cut the middleman out and just pay it directly to the council, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to pay all of that. You don't need to pay the workers to utilize the vans and drive the vans to their house and then to work to their house to their work. And they're like, well, we don't charge anything. That comes out of people's rent. They call it affordable housing while they've got their own staff members are abusing the pot worse than any benefit fraud. And that should be frowned upon worse than what? People on benefit fraud? People are committing benefit fraud, right? Do you know how many times I've had people call it up over me in my life for benefit fraud? And it's been a load of bullshit. But yet, whilst we're fucking around with these trying to get me back bullshit, oh my fucking days, you will understand then that these people are not being seen.
Yeah.
If it's social housing, statistically, there's more people who are on low income or no income are going to be utilizing this service, and they're going to be paying into it via taxpayers' money, and the employers are using the fuel for personal trips. Then there is insurance on top of that. When you sit down with a calculator and you start to calculate how much of these employers are taking those vans home, what their miles are, where those cars go, what type of insurance does it need, what insurance is being covered on that, and the diesel and anything else, and the tax upon that, who's paying for it? And you'll say, well, the people in social housing. No, let's look further. The taxpayer. If people are part working and don't earn enough from employers because they won't pay them enough, maybe because they can't, or they're trying to give someone a job or a purpose or whatever else it may be, and then part tax is paying for them to uphold their place in social housing, and yet their rent is so fucking high, and it's called affordable, but 700 odd quid is not affordable. And these companies are using vans and cars that are part of the company that should go into the company, and you should take your car and then you use your fuel to go home. But these people are. They're taking vans. And these vans are a part of the company, and these company are paying for the fuel. And it's not the company that's paying for it, because this company wouldn't exist without these individuals who they like to shit all over. These staff members are taking the piss and committing a worse fraud because they are working and also claiming from the pot. They are working and claiming your tax money.
Yeah.
Do you know how big this is? In lots of companies that I've seen, and been a part of, I'm absolutely outstanded with the amount that this is going on. Did you know, practically, I think that near enough 75% of what taxpayers is paying is going towards companies that are doing this, and they are ripping everybody off, but nobody gives a shit. So if you understand it, each time you lick a stamp and put it on an envelope, and yet people that take the Royal Mail vans and take them home with them, you are paying for that, for your stamp. Do you think that that journey from work to house was free?
For them.
And then, is this frauding the tax man? Because where they've just used a company car, have they got a reduced tax? Have they got a reduced tax on the insurance? Have they got a reduced tax on anything else? And wear and tear? Because the more you're using this van to commute and go to fucking pizza parlors and everything else, you're not using your own. And your own would be tax, road tax, fuel tax, wear and tear to get it into a garage tax. So yours is going to be a lot smaller, yeah? So you're working and you are not paying into the pot at the same time, which I think is worse. It's not a company car. It's not a company van. To put it another way, it'd be like a copper going home. It'd be like a fireman going home with the fire truck. Yeah, it's never going to happen, right? It's like paramedics might as well take the ambulance home. They might as well go into that paramedic truck at any time they want and take anything they need. Another thing that I've learned along the ways is when they buy something for a property because they needed to fix something and they've bought it, but it wasn't needed for the property, they then get to give it away for a Christmas present. So, right before Christmas, I bet these companies, and they're unregulated, no one is watching, and this comes from the taxpayer. The taxpayer is paying for this. .gov, you are paying for this. So right before Christmas, I bet their repairs go up. But it ain't. It's because they're buying pointless things, going to someone's house, and they're like, oh, you don't need it. Oh, I don't know why they sent me to do that. Oh, God.
But they will write it off.
They'll write it off that they put it into this property, even though the property didn't need it. And then what are they going to do with that product now?
Yeah, use it for themselves because
they
needed
it as a Christmas present? Now, what tax has been on that? Have you paid a tax? No, you haven't. You've written that off in a tax book in a company, and your books are now fraudulent. And who is there to monitor this? No one. I would be monitoring this. And you watch. Soon becomes 5%, becomes 10%, becomes an increase of 20%, becomes an increase all the way up to 75%. When you start to add this all up, it's a big number. It's big. It's almost like, and then you wonder how these people are living in such lavish lifestyles that they're living. When you go to look at their wages that they're taking. Because, to apply for a job like yours, I would be on this much. How the fuck do you have a house this big? I couldn't do it on that wage. And gee me, I'm good with mixing money. I'm very good at it. I'm very good at juggling this stuff. But I couldn't do it on that. The only way I could do it is if I weren't paying for a car, if I weren't paying for wear and tear, if I weren't paying for insurance, if I weren't paying for road tax or fuel tax. Now I've got this accumulated money that is left over, but it's fraudulent. And then what happens if I start ordering things through the company that are not needed on certain people? What you tell me as the customer, how am I ever supposed to confirm with let's say if it's a housing association, how can I confirm that they actually fit that or didn't fit it? What about if it was a boiler? Oh, I must have got that wrong. Perhaps it isn't you. I don't know why they would send me to give you a new boiler. Oh, well. But yet they could write that into the books that they did put in a new boiler. But did they? Or have they just got a new boiler and now can sell this? Or give it away, or
put it
give
to
it to a friend.
their own house, or
So now I'm taking care of Christmas, I'm taking care of birthday presents, I'm not paying fuel tax, I'm not paying insurance, I'm using a company van, no wear and tear. It's up to the company to put it through again, which when it goes through for wear and tear, mileage, different things like that. Does this balance with the mileage that you and do you know who's paying for this? Taxpayers. Why? Because it's got to come out of somewhere. You mean to tell me that the CEO is like, you know what? Out of all of my billions and trillions that I've just earned, I'm going to let you all have company vehicles. Because you've done such a fantastic job, I'm going to let you have anything you want out of this company. Well, it ain't me paying for it. It's it's .gov. Take what you want. And you'll be disheartened to know, because the more you look, the more you begin to see how many of these are actually reaming it. We're going to charge you a service charge, but not deliver a service. But we're going to get you to do the service that you pay us the charge for. You'll be surprised. And if you're doing it there, you're doing it here, you're doing it over there, you're doing it with company cars, you're doing it with insurance, you're doing it with the fuel.
You fill your pockets, yeah.
And then I'd have to ask, do I need a workforce like that? Would it be cheaper for the taxpayer if it wasn't this way? You know, you see, this is where it moves into that realm of if you could create a housing association, it would be one that only, could you imagine this, right? A big tech housing association, cheap rent. If you ever have a problem, you send an email. The email is read by a robot that then finds tradesmen that have got good reviews based on this. It then sends the job to this tradesman, that tradesman, and that tradesman, the best of the three, and availability. And they say, we can do it here, we can do it here, we can do it here. Okay, you were the quickest one. Can you go to this property at this time? Yes. Send back to tenant. We'll be here at this time. Can you do it? You click back, yes. It goes into the AI, documents that both are going to meet up. Job is done. And then the employer is off. The AI then writes to tenant, how did you find that experience? Was it done to your satisfaction? They say yes. The company then is paid, and you don't need any workers at all. None. Just AI. Any problem you get with anything, even if it's antisocial behavior, you don't need no staff members. You don't need that. And therefore, this should be one of the cheapest social housing that you'll ever find. And it should be the buildings, these buildings will last a freaking long time. Why? Get a problem, tell it over to here. Yes, if there needs to be checks done, I can understand that to a degree. But does it have to be so invasive? Can it be a third-party company? Can it go off to a surveyor? I mean, if you really want to check the integrity of a building, surveyors are it. Not someone that doesn't understand safety. And they say that they've been trained. Problem is, there's a choice whether they want to use that training or whether they like you or don't. This is just human nature. It's the way it is. Maybe you've said something about my company that I don't like. I've got to teach you a lesson now. Maybe you made us give up some money because we were unlawfully taking it. Got to do this now. And it can punish you for it. This way it just eliminates it. And I think that the insurance premium, if you want to get into this type of housing that is done this way, that is run, you know, fucking hell, if Zuckerberg and Basil or whoever else and all of these big tech companies were to put into a pot to build this type of thing, just, you know, just some pocket money here and there, if they all came together to build this to see how it would formulate, I mean, that would be an interesting thing. That would be very interesting. I lost my train of thought for a second. It might come back. It would be cheap. The buildings would be well looked after, and I think that then you don't have any of that sort of... the insurance side of it. Landlord's insurance, right? This is the deal. If you want this property on sign up, this is the term and condition that is the biggest, boldest writing that you've ever... No hiding this shit. Make it as big and bold. You are signing this particular agreement. if you damage this property, the insurance premium shall be applied to you directly. Whether you work, whether you claim, whether you are this. If you damage this building, depending on how much it's going to cost to put it back, you're covering the premium on the insurance until they are satisfied that that is. Do you understand that it will follow you even if you leave the house and go elsewhere? That premium will follow you. If you fuck up another house, that's double premium, triple premium. It can't be wiped. It can't be ignored. If you have the house and it's respectful, yes, you make your modifications to it. Just as quick as that. What do you plan to do? Do this, this, and this. It quickly grabs up on something on, this is why I say big tech companies. It goes somewhere to like Amazon and says, this is what they plan to do. And then Amazon search the market quickly using their AI. We've got a socket for that. We will allow you to do this if you purchase it from here. You can go elsewhere. It's more expensive, but we'll do you a good deal. What's more, if you're willing to pay a little bit extra, we will also pay for some professionals to come in. This is how much it's going to cost to do that. If you really want this done, would you like to pay for this? Pay for it up front now or pay for it over the course of your rent. However, if you move out in the meantime, this will be a charge that will also be applied to the premium, which will follow you no matter where you go. It will be docked directly from your wages, which I think should be accepted. If you are a good person and you have no plans to fuck the layout of the house, you want to upgrade it, because in this way, if you upgrade this, whether it be with solar sockets, whether it be with this, whether it be with that, when you go, you will leave it. You've just upgraded the house. Now, whether there can be an end of tenancy, the product is old, it's gone down in price. Usually things go down in price. It needs the better one. We'll give you this much to keep the stuff here, or you take it with you and we will replace it with this much, which you've already paid for it. So you could take that particular socket with you, but why would you? You know, if you've made a letterbox in the wall, or a circular socket, a tube that allows you to put cables in and out with a letterbox brush all the way around it, or it's made from rubber so that when you push through it, it grips around the wire so it doesn't let any air in or any damp or any air out. It's just purely there for sending cables from one to the other. Job done. Do what you need, live how you need to live. And it stands for that testament, and the reason why I say these companies, these big tech companies, because they come from a place that sort of is America, right? So it's that freedom. And would they uphold that integrity to have it's a little piece of America in your own home? Sort of thing. Do you get what I mean? In a tower block or something, and, you know, based on this, this, and this, if anything were to go wrong, this, that, and the other, we will give you this much. It's better than saying, we'll think about it. No, we won't. No, we can't. I'm sorry. No. Just have that power to say no, as opposed to thinking, the world is going this way. Law states you've got to meet net zero. Law states that you are allowed to live like this. Law states that you have to have but yet these companies, some of these companies are like, we want to be in control of what you do because you pissed us off. You did that, right? They can prejudice against, they can discriminate against you. This eliminates it. Live how you want to live, providing this, this, and this. What if you're a music person? Someone that likes to have a little bit of music. We live in a culture now where we can soundproof a whole fucking building out. Do you want to have this music? This is how much it's going to cost you for us to soundproof this particular, the whole building. But we can do a room at a time. This is how much it's going to cost. If you want that, we'll do that. Or why not build the house with it in mind in the first place? Shout as loud as you want, do what you need to do. No one will hear you anyway. Live as you want to live. Why not build a house with this in mind? Fucking hell, we soundproof recording studios, don't we? Nightclubs and shit.
Yes, we do.
But not houses. So everybody has to live like mice among one another.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be the best housing that you could ever imagine? Do you think that would be I would like to live in a building like that.
Yeah.
One that works with you, and you know that it's going to always go on to work with you, not against you, not prejudice, not intrusive, not invasion of your privacy, not... I mean, this video is kind of a lot of breakdowns in this, to be honest. I could separate this into multiple videos, but it's just the way I want to go. I like flitting from one to the other, to the other, to the other. It's nothing nowhere near what I wanted to talk about. The brake lights was one. What about Brita? In these social housing, do we notice that toilets are always filled with limescale? So if Brita companies then worked alongside with a big tech company to build new houses, or even as a standalone that can be installed into your house, why do we have Brita filters for kettles, but not toilets?
Yeah, just to remove the
The limescale.
limescale because
To keep your toilet amply clean.
it damages the stuff anyway. Doesn't
We know that Anglian water companies put iron and they ionize water and deionized water. Did you know it actually stops limescale and different things like that? However, it also puts out a lot of companies such as Harpic, bleach. You'll probably still need the bleach, but you won't need the times 10 limescale killer. I don't want to kill the limescale after I've got the problem. I want it to never happen in the first place. So we don't need to fork out all of this fucking money. But what about toilets that have a different way of working compared to the average ones that we've got?
Yeah.
And if they will just get a descale, they don't work. They work for a bit and it's not great. I think here there's a splitter on the water. I think the hot water is connected to the cold feed and there must be some sort of split pipe. Because when you turn on the cold water, all of that limescale in the cold water, it's like getting water from your water tank, which is unusual for a new build. Unless it's the water direct from the mains, but if it was, it would be like it were everywhere else. So, and that's public in different areas because we should all technically be connected to the same supply. And if we are, then why is there a difference in this one that separates the difference from yours? Do you have scalers? No, we don't. So how come your water's more cleaner? Well, but you don't have this. Yes, we don't have that. So, and I think the bacteria is quite dangerous, really, to put all of this stuff in because you're feeding it. You're giving it a place to live, a place to breed, a place to get very bad, and flush by flush. And yes, I like to stick a lot of chemicals down the toilet, but eventually this bleeds out into the rivers and leaches and causes things to die. And it pollutes a lot of water, but at the same time, what about people that don't do that? How much has that bacteria grown, which has garnered knowledge, and it's learnt an awful lot of stuff, and now you flushed it? And maybe it leaks somewhere, and maybe the pipes aren't all integral, and it's getting out into the... Oh dear. You know, if you were to remove the building blocks that it needs to survive, wouldn't you be helping your species? As opposed to later on. Remember, when bacteria is awake, the more it learns is based on how long it is awake for. So if you think about it, humans are awake. How much have they learned? What happens if you had to go in torpor mode and sort of shut down for the winter? What would you learn? As opposed to being awake all the time. So the longer humanity is awake for, and it's different when it comes to bacteria, it's faster for bacteria, it's slower for humans, but their learning is focused around this brick building at a time, working with something else. You are giving it ample amount of time to stay alive for the longest time. The longer it is alive for, the more it is learning. And then any radiation influxes or dips is going to mutate it. And whereas you don't want to mutate, it most certainly does. Because it's at that stage where it probably wants to be more than what it is. Like all life forms really want to be more than what they are already. All life forms They always got this sort of destiny that they sort of see this. But yeah, when I was talking about technology and different things like that, do you ever think that you are creating it not for yourselves but for others to look in through your technology? Could you imagine giving this one a piece to build the tech, which creates a surveil system here on Earth, which helps others look for the ones that are destined to be here? They know that it's going to be here, but their tricky problem is going to be, how do we approach that topic? And then all of a sudden something happens that humanity does because they've walked towards that way without a fucking clue as to why they're doing it. You can't ask people, why is humanity heading this way? Well, because you haven't got an answer. No one has got an answer anywhere, whether it's this, or that. The answer is because we just feel that it's right. Okay, so what gave you that feeling? That's the question I'm on about. Question mark B, higher power. Something is governing you and you don't realize it, whether you like it or not. And this helps something else unlock, which then could have a piece of a puzzle in something else which has a piece of a puzzle. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. Until you reach the one that it wants to reach. This can always be done in a chain. It's not just a food chain, it's also a knowledge chain. And what you do might be a piece of a puzzle for something else to look through you, to garner the information from what it needs. Because, think about it. Do you ever think that anything higher would ever go to the ends? Or do you think it would go and, you see, this is something. It likes to ripple. It likes to send out a ripple, and it's never one way, it's in multiple directions, a bit like a star when it explodes in many different ways. Beetlejuice. When that goes, oof, you've just started a timer, and that timer is then started. Big chunks are going to be coming for Earth. Be ready? This is why I like some of the Russian rockets. Some of that nutcracker. That's impressive. That is very impressive. And they are following something. I don't know what it is. Now, whether others are following it secretively, that remains a big question mark. But they are following something. Nutcracker is impressive. It is very impressive. It's not quite there, and I'm sure they've got a long way to go with it, but that is fucking impressive. That's very good. Now, how it works elsewhere, I think they made one of the fastest rockets, didn't they? Space rockets, theirs was the fastest, wasn't it? But was a little bit more reliable on the others, and if you were to combine this tech together, fucking hell, American-Russian tech together, shit, that would be impressive. Even more so than if it stood alone. Anyway, but you just... So you understand that there's a ripple effect. Because there is a learning effect, a bit like a teardrop in a still lake. Multiple teardrops in a lake. Wow, beautiful. Creates waves at the end, yes? Because what is learned and is developed and said or thought is then captured, said, thought, captured, said, thought, captured, said, thought. And it's a bit like that game. We used to call it Chinese whisper, but I like the word secret whisper without being xenophobic. Where one person says something to someone and it builds. Do you get how this sort of sound wave?
Yeah.
Another one, light wave. Again, is another one where the way the light hits into something and from its source, it's always much more bigger than it appears to be. Do you know what? Stars would love that, right? If they understood how bigger they actually look when you think about it. Could you imagine if a star was very small, but based on how far away it was, you would expect the light to sort of more grip, wouldn't you? Especially when we talk about torches and the further back you come. Yes, it starts to fade out and it goes beyond a point where it starts to then... You are then able to look at it based on its intensity. Something very small and bright could trick you to thinking that it's bigger than what it actually appears to be. And space, is it truly dark? When we look at this and we see that it all is being darkness, is it really? Or is it so freaking bright that you're seeing it as a dark spot? You know that, right? That there's you need an overhead projector. If you put a light bulb on that, which is you would say is more intense in one particular area, do you know what happens on the display?
No.
It appears as a dark spot.
Uh-huh.
The light, if you turn the light on, it appears as a dark spot. So you turn the overhead projector on, and the teacher used to write some stuff on that transparent acrylic, yes?
Mm-hmm.
With flexi. And they lay it on, and the words appear up on the, based on the mirror and the lens.
Yeah.
Hits that, bush.
Mm-hmm.
The further back it goes, if it's too far back, it starts to fade. If it's too close, it's too bright. Just right ratio. If you remove that piece of paper that she's drawn her gibberish on, I was a female teacher that used to use these a lot. And I like the sound of them, the hum. If you put a lamp on it with just the bulb appearing, and you turn on the light, and it's like 100-watt light bulb, it appears as a dark spot, a black spot. It's interesting. Could you imagine if there was a star that was in closer proximity to us, that we would just be seeing it as a dark spot around, and it could just be so bright? See, that's the thing, really. We got to know that we're seeing correctly, and a lot of things we're not seeing correctly at all on a lot of stuff. Yes. What's the one where you can change the photographs? You can change the brights for the darks and the darks for the bright.
Inversion.
Invert space, and it is an interesting thing. In order to see stars easier, invert it. A picture that you've taken. And you have to do a lot of playing around with all the filters and different things like that. But when you invert it, that's when it becomes very interesting. You can see more dark specks on a light background than you can see light specks on a dark background, which you would think it wouldn't be that way, but it is this way. I like to do. I like to alter those. And to think about it, my camera is only picking up a fucking stamp's worth, if that. The overall... Just when you think that you've seen it all, and you go again, more appears, and more appears, and more appears, and you're like, with that much light, with that much freaking light, I shouldn't be seeing darkness. But are you seeing darkness because they're like the little lamps on your star's overhead projector, and we're appearing as dark? Anyway, that's just one for you to think about. And everything that we see is not technically as it is. Really, our brain is limited, our eyes are limited, the brain is more unlimited, and the brain is limited in certain aspects, and it seems to be able to understand more than what the receptor is able to pick up on. Because the brain seems to respond in behavior based on things that humans can't see, so or hear, and the ears as well. So there's a Hertz frequency that you can trigger off that you can't audibly hear yourself. It's not translated into any sound, but your brain knows something's going on, and it alters the behavior of most people. Did you know that? And also, when we were talking about the infrared in the beginning, that even that alters your behavior. And then we've got red light, blue light, different stuff like that. Yeah, that's if you get clever enough to separate these into their spectrums, or it's not spectrometry, is it? No, it's is it? No, that's more star composition, isn't it? Into their color field. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. You know, so breaking light down, which is the true light? If we had aliens that came around a supernova, and then you got aliens that were born around a, I don't know, dwarf? Brown dwarf, whatever it's called. And you had another one that was red giant, which would be us. Who's seeing correctly? Who's got the truest light version versus their eyes? Their eyes would develop in a different way. That's if they have eyes. Which ones would be tuned to what they can see? What about if you had an infrared star? Let's say that some were just existing around an infrared star. That would be an interesting thing. They couldn't see anything technically, but how would their eyes develop to see that? And if they could see it, oh shit me, who's actually seeing correctly? Who is actually captured the light If there are so many different variations of light, which there is, you would think about it because of the colors and the ratio and what it burns, it produces a different light. And then the eyes are picked up on this in order to remove the noise in order for you to see. Because if not, if you could see oxygen particles and different stuff in that, like that, you wouldn't be able to see shit. There would be no point in having eyes. So the brain is very magically, or the eyes, or something that is leading the eyes and the brain has said, shouldn't be seeing that. Perhaps we won't be seeing that either. Maybe we won't see that either. So that means that something had to look through you in order to see how you were going to see before it gave you the eye. And then there's that knowing again, isn't it? Whether we put it down to evolution and different stuff, we just evolved. So the evolving knew something before. Man, that's crazy. Shit me, let's get off Einstein for a second and let's just look at our individual selves for a quick bit. Because that's fucking mad. It knew something that if we were to see it, we'd see way too much. It'd be like looking through murky water. Being able to see all that shit. Now imagine if you were in control of your own brain and then you could turn off that murkiness. Okay, in this water I don't want to see leaf debris. Okay, great. Now I don't want to see dirt. Okay, great. Okay, I don't want to see this yellow in filter. Bit by bit you slowly begin to clear it. And then you're able to see through water. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
We do this somewhat when we wear goggles. So without goggles and you go under, it is terrible, right? And then when you wear goggles and go under, oh god, I can see quite a bit. But although goggles don't stop the murkiness and the particles that are floating by, but imagine if you had some way in your mind to put a chip and just based on different click, 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 click. Or perhaps it would be better to not click anything and just think it. I don't want to see this. Okay. Your wish is my command. A little genie. Never mind in the bottle, a genie in the brain. A genie over your receptors, right? I want to be able to hear these sounds. Could you please limit out all of this traffic? Dush, 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 dush. Or when you was a kid, listening to the TV, trying to watch a cartoon, and your mum's yap, 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 yap with her friend. And every time you turn off, turn it down. I'm talking. Okay? Don't be so fucking rude. All right? Trying to fucking hear the fucking TV. I don't want to listen about what you guys are talking about. Could you imagine if you just thought it and it just eliminated them talking? It'd be great when you get in bollocking. Have you got your receptor on? Yes. Yes, I definitely have. Do you want not lip reading me? I need you to hear this punishment. Teacher talking, I don't want to hear it. Play Linkin Park in the end. Once you get on bollocking and you think this is strange, but this could be done. If your mind can already memorize a song, and also you can play it back to yourself, it depends on where you are at. A lot of people I spoke to can't do this. What about movies? I memorize a movie, I can play it in my mind. That's a very strange thing. But the thing is, it's opaque. Is that the right word to use? If I could adjust the frequency of that a little bit more, I could see it like I was there. But I have to zone out in order to do so a little bit. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. I'm working on it, trying to bring it out, bring it into reality as well, which would be a forced hallucination. But if you can do it, do you ever think that you could ever put a device in your mind that could be able to alter this for you just based on your thought? You think it, see it. Where did you just go? Sorry, I just watched the entirety of Stephen King movies. You were saying? I mean, that's where it would be. Chris used to be fascinated with being able to upload movies into your mind, as opposed to on a screen somewhere. And he's right. The best screen, we were talking about the best screen. What would be the best screen? LCD, plasma? Because this was all coming out at the time. I was like, your fucking imagination. A controlled hallucination. Do you think about that? Rather than having a drug that causes you to trip out involuntarily, you see whatever your body sort of leads you to see, but one that could make you hallucinate the whole entire cast and set of Storm of the Century with Stephen King from beginning to the fucking end. And then afterwards, no side effects, no aftermath, no blink and you'll miss it. Yeah, quite literally. But you could watch it there. You could speed it up or you could slow it down. Or great one would be interactive version. Move the characters and change the storyline slightly. Capture that and put it up into the database. And other people might find that yes, the baseline of Stephen King's movie is great, but the baseline of Stephen King's movie is awesome, but along with fucking Terry's version of it. Right, you get it? You're then collective. It would never have happened without Stephen King's first initial baseline, and then you take it and without ever needing an actor. That would be weird, wouldn't it? It would be a very strange world, very Talker world, wouldn't it? Yeah. To be suspended. Do you know what this prepares you for? Long distance space travel at limited speeds. The other question I got is how long would you live for? Well, we know when we go to space, you live longer. Much longer. 200 years on a vessel is not inconceivable. In fact, that is small amount. That is low. Whilst you're connected to a body that you are, which is the planet, you have got a lot of wear and tear, a lot of pressing down, a lot of moving up. You don't feel it. You see, that's another thing. It's not just eyes. It's not just ears. It's also feelings. Your feelings have been limited too. You know, when we often talk about knowing inner eye, inner ears, inner vision, which then you can choose whether your inner vision stays in inner vision or you can make it your outer vision. And then you've got inner reality versus outer reality. So if I visualize, how am I going to build something like this, this, and this, and I get to work and I do it and I build it, fucking hell, it trips you out for a little bit. You've just taken some memory that you've got from, it's not really a memory because it's not past. You've created an artificial memory implanted and you've created it into reality. And now when you see it and you go out somewhere and you think back to that thing that you've just built, now you have a memory, but it was a memory to start with, but not quite. The memory came after you built it because now you're remembering it whilst you're away from it. But it started that way in the beginning, so who the fuck's memory was it? Who gave you that? Well, the mind just made it all by its fucking self. Well, if the mind did that, then why the fuck doesn't it do it with other things? In that aspect. So who or what is in control of that? And the variations over the amount of population that has ever lived, that has ever done this stuff, why is there always this limit shared from one vessel to another vessel to another vessel? Why the secrecy? But anyway, so we talk about this inner eye and inner ear. And there's this other spreadsheet that I do is this one, which I kind of drew on the back and regret that I never drew on the back of it, which is inner feeling, inner emotion, inner mind feelings versus feelings. So you've got inner feeling, yes? So what you feel. And then there's outer feelings, which is technically, I just doubled as feelings and inner feelings. So before I got in an aeroplane, the landing part, perfect. I already had this dream of it, and it was like for like with my outer. Now, was that me doing that? Well, I don't know. Was it because I knew something? I'd never been on a plane before, but how did I know that? How did the mind know that to create that if I'd never been on an aeroplane before to know it almost perfectly? And did the mind create that? And then while I was on the aeroplane, it then made it feel like how I was feeling in order to reassure me. Do you see the conundrum? That's the, which is it? But no, it's not that. Because when you think about it, you're born onto a planet that is rotating, if you are, gravitational force, field, and everything else. You don't really realize it until you go on the moon. You're going to be feeling a difference. You're going to be pulling around as opposed to, you're going to be orbiting this plus orbiting this. That's a multi-force. Then if you had something orbiting the moon, and you were able to walk on it, you're now orbiting a moon that is now orbiting an Earth that is now orbiting the fucking star. And then the reason why you feel space, the astronauts are, oh, we're feeling this. Yes, because you're feeling what it's like not to. You are now just how the planets are feeling. They are orbiting the star. And you are, yes, separately orbiting this body, but in a way that's more controlled. So therefore you're feeling this, how that would be. And then there's outer feelings, which other people can artificially make you feel things, or you can inwardly feel these things on your own accord anyway, which is very interesting. And we are limited to what we can feel, which is strange. So if you're born onto the planet. So anybody that is born in space, and then you put them on the planet after they get to, let's say, I don't know, they go through puberty and reach their 20s, maybe 30s, never ever stepped a foot on the planet before. And then we bring them down. Do you know the first thing they're going to do? How the fuck do you do this? I'm really feeling this. Are you sick? Come on, be normal, stand up. What are you feeling? I don't know, it's like trying to explain love right now. Then there's going to be this feeling. And then there's going to be another feeling that takes place. Let's say you colonize Mars. And you've got the blue sunset and the red sky most of the time. To any Earthlings with the mainly predominantly blue and everything else, green is a secondary color. When you travel from Earth to Mars, the reddening or orange effect is going to piss you off. There's going to be days where that whole orangeness is going to start to really... Not today. Here's when blue light comes important. You're going to feel it. And then I wonder, because if we say that red light is associated with making you feel tired, what's going to make you feel on Mars? Versus the blue earth, blue light, blue sky. And then by design, once again, we begin to see something, but you don't see it because this is what, me talking in pre-hindsight. So everyone says, oh, if only we knew now what we knew then, and what we knew then, and what we know now, and this shit. Yeah, okay, well, I'm now doing this. Let's move forwards into hindsight, because that's what science should be about, moving beyond that. So on Mars, are people going to feel more tired than what they are on Earth? Based on the colour, the ratio, the refraction. One's red, one's blue. Technically orange, but still red. And then right at sunset, they're going to get a boost. Oh, I feel so awake. Yeah, not now. Where did it go? But yeah, if we were to take someone that was, I've never stepped a day off of Mars. Oh, you haven't? How old are you? I'm about 40. It's going to be the first time I've ever been to Earth. Good. When they go there, they're going to be nuts with the fucking blueness. This fucking blue haze. I don't know how you do it. And then sunset. It's going to make me feel like home. It's going to make a euphoric. Everyone here on Earth is going to be like, let's get ready for fucking bed sort of thing. And they're going to be like wide awake. Like, I'm ready to start my day. Feeling starting to go. The sunset goes. They're going to have different feelings, personality, the awakeness, and then that's going to affect their behaviour, their overall behaviour. Psychologists, come on, let's get going. We better start predicting this now. We better start printing this out and get that ink fucking wet. Because this is where it's going to go, and every single place that you go to, so let's say we were able to colonise the moon. And someone that would stay there most of the time. You see, this is about this oneness. Pick one of the planets. The moon, Earth, or Mars. Just one. But yet, what would be more beneficial is if you were an adapter and you spent little bits of time. So we got the kids that travel with dad's work or something. What's dad's work? Well, he's a rock analyst. Oh, okay, I don't know what we call these, but, whatever. We go study rocks on the moon. Oh, so I've been all over. This particular kid has been on each of these planets over and over. And then you've got one that stayed on Mars. You've got one that stayed on Earth. And you've got one that stayed on the moon. And one that's travelled all the way over. Do you know their behaviours are going to be so affected by this? The one that travels around, I see, you see the reddening in here and the orange, but you get used to it. You see the blue, but you sort of get used to it. You know what? I feel like deja vu, but it wasn't blue, it was red. Anyway, And then the moon, it'll be like, I don't know about that. I don't think I like colour. The red, all the blue. I like the white. And this cycling of 12 days, it's beautiful. It's lovely. They don't have it there. It's just terrible. But yet their knowledge is going to be big. How to grow plants, how to do this, how to... La-di-da-di-da. Which one would you want to be in that? Hey, God, just one, Kerry. Just one. Are you sure? No, I want you to be a fucking adapter. I made you adaptable. Why? That's what you are, isn't it, human? Yes. Then you are an adapter. You should be able to cope with all of this. But only with what you feed your body. I thought it was your mind. That psychologist is that too. Mind, body, and your feeling. Because what are you feeling? What are you feeling? What are you hearing? What are you sensing? What are you seeing? It's not just what you... you can't be an adapter, and what you feed your mind is what makes you, son. It's what you feed your eyes to and your ears and the things you hear when you grow up. This is what influences your... the inner woods, the outer woods. Could you imagine that? The amount that you would know on each one. You know, survivalists would become something else, wouldn't they? I'm Bear Grylls. You know, I'm going to teach you how to survive on the moon. And fucking Mars. Fuck me, the BBC would be making sequels.
Yeah.
We'd be keeping them in fucking process as well, wouldn't you? BBC Travel to Mars. While you're there, you could be studying Bear Grylls. Yes, but you could also be doing documentaries on all the rocks. Yeah, there was that rock guy, wasn't there? Yes. And psychology. Now I'm filling your arsenal too. It's a fucking wonderful world, really, isn't it? Just by, you know, you could either just film one person. What are you going to Mars for? I'm just filming Bear Grylls. And Ray Mears. Oh. Okay then. While you're there, you're just filming him. It's good. Action. And then you come back. So what did you learn? Well, just lots about survival. But while you were there, you could film you at this time. And I'm going to film a few of these rocks here. And do you know what? Actually, I need you, Bear Grylls. I need someone that's a rock expert. You fancy coming? Yeah, all right then. Good. Wonderful. You know, think of this like a diamond. And I'm the crusher. I'm the BBC producer now. I'm going to squish this moment so much that it extracts multiple things from you, and we're going to leave behind the crystals. I could just do one, but paychecks. But fuck me, the BBC will only give you one wage. But I've just brought you 5 different types of documentary here. Yes, but just one wage. It's like you were born on Christmas. One present. That present is for your birthday, and it is for Christmas. I'm not sure I like this. You never hear people that are born on Christmas complaining. Actually, I do. I always ask them the one thing that I ask if anyone that says, I was born on Christmas. Let me guess, you only get one present. How the fuck did you know that? This present, because I would buy you just one present if you're lucky enough for me to buy you one. This is for your birthday, and it is a Christmas present all rolled into one. Technically, it sounds better than me saying, here's a present, just one, it's for both, because I'm a tight ass. Lucky that you even got this one present. Comprende? Good. Moving on. But I would probably expect it to probably... So are you going to sell this documentary with BBC with just one documentary for one payment? Holy fuck! We're breaking this down into multiple series. $5.99 each episode. But you're only going to pay me one wage for collecting all of it? Either you like this salary or we will find someone that will. Okay, I'm going to take it, but you know, you fucking bastards. Just kidding, but still, you do look a cunt to the universe if you do it that way. You know, you probably should just be like, do you know what? You are fucking mega talented. And then David Attenborough starts chopping up and going, hang on, I didn't only get the tigers, I also got the monkeys and the gazelles. I think I need payments for each animal. Fucking, is she trying to bankrupt us? Then we'd have a documentary based on how the fucking BBC collapsed in the first place. No? Well, first they went over to do this documentary over here, and people got so fucking greedy. No, it's a good do. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave this one here, because if not, it's going to get strange. I've got things to do and things to be getting on with. But this has been fun. I've had a good experience with this little video. I'm just finding my feet. Don't take anything too seriously. Do apologise, BBC, Ray Mears, Bear Grylls, David Attenborough, just using examples. But, you know, yeah, they've got to come to some sort of agreement with that, you know. But yeah, should we leave it there? Lights, brake lights, if they were blue. You know, you could test this in Thailand. Rather than, you know, putting lights around a mountain, solar panel, mind you, that were blue, would bus drivers stop falling asleep when they're going up the mountain? I don't think it was Thailand. Was it Thailand? Somewhere like that, anyway. As opposed to ones that burn. Well, they do have a sort of red hue to them. This could be contributing to sort of... And then, if there's children in classrooms, would this make a difference to the work that's being produced? Because I knew that kids produced more work outside in the summer when the teacher took the lesson out than they did in a classroom under those tube lights. Just wonder that. I just wonder if this productivity is based on the different lighting that you have. And then this brings into the fold a lot of psychology. Electricians, fucking hell, we're just piling it on. I've got more, but still. Brita toilets, you know. Brita has now moved to shitter. No, I'm just kidding. Still, you know, flush the toilet. Look how clean this bowl is. It's fucking wonderful. And then bleach companies are pissed. And Harpic? No. Chemical version, or you could get in there first and make a filter that goes into the toilet. Wouldn't that be something? Be more money. Anyway, right, let's leave it there. That was fun. Just leave it there because I go on.